It's been 10 years. 10 long years. I can't forget it. It won't let me forget it. I want to tell you what happened, but it scares me to even talk about it. I just think it's time to tell someone. Tonight, it would have been 10 years to the day. I was 30 years old. My girlfriend and I had split up and things were really bad for me at the time. I only had casual work, so wasn't making much money. Sleeping on the couch in the living room was becoming difficult, so I had to find a cheap place to live in as soon as possible. I'd seen a house for rent in the classifieds. It was cheap, really cheap, and located just outside of town. I'd written down the phone number on a small piece of chewing gum wrapper I'd scrunched up in my pocket. I called the number on the wrapper and an old woman picked up. She had a very husky voice and spoke in a very kind and caring manner. She explained to me that the house was her mother's and her mum had just passed away. The old woman then went on to say that she won't live in the home as it brings up too many memories. I didn't really know what she meant by that. I had made a time to go and see the house that day. The house was beautiful, a 2-story home with shuttered windows, hardwood floors and a fresh coat of paint. It was fully furnished with old vintage furniture and had a really good feel to it. I felt good. The price though, how is this place so cheap? I could easily afford it, and that was saying a lot. I accepted the offer and in the next couple of days was fully moved in. The first day was great. The house just felt like it was my own. It was warm and comfortable and just had a really good feel to it. The sun shone through the windows, creating a bright and light feel to the home. What I didn't know was it was all about to change. That night I awoke. It was 11:30. I went downstairs to the kitchen and grabbed a bottle of orange juice from the fridge and took a sip. The house didn't feel the same. It felt bad. It felt cold and dark. The air felt dry and a smell was permeating through the rooms, the smell of rotten meat. The worst thing was that I felt like I was being watched, not by one person, but by many. I looked in all directions. I couldn't see into the other rooms. It was so dark. "Hello," I said out aloud. Nothing. I felt stupid. What was I doing? I was just sleepy, I thought. I walked into the living room. It was very dark. I couldn't see much in front of me, and then I froze. Someone was standing right in front of me. I couldn't see them. It was so dark, but the smell, oh my God. The smell of rotten meat, it was so strong. I couldn't move. I was frozen in place. My phone was in my pocket. I slid my hand into my pocket to grab it and press the unlock button. I raised the phone quickly to the face of the person. A man smiled at me, his face rotten with maggots dripping from its socket. He smiled, a tooth-filled grin from his rotten skull. He laughed a low, deep laugh and grabbed my shoulder. I pushed off his hand and ran as fast as I could up the stairs into the bedroom, closed the door behind me. I walked backwards, staring at the door, expecting him to burst in. But nothing. It was silent on the other side. I turned around to head towards the window to escape the house when I saw a woman crying on the bed. She had a black veil hiding her face. I was shaking. What is going on in this house? She was sobbing on the bed with her hands placed upon her face. "Hello," I said. She turned her head slowly towards me and lifted her veil. Dead. She was dead, the same as the man, the smell of rotten meat filling the room. She screamed a high-pitched scream and reached her arms towards me like she was trying to grab me. I panicked and ran towards the door. I opened the door to see the man laughing and smiling at me. I pushed past him and ran down the stairs. I turned on the living room light. Bodies. Bodies everywhere. Oh my God. The smell was overwhelming. They were all reaching out at me, screaming, laughing, moaning and crying. I was terrified. There were so many of them. Then the light flickered. It was almost blinding, like a flash, and suddenly they were all gone. I ran out the front door and onto the street and fell to my knees crying. Someone had run from the house across the road after hearing all the noise to help me. I gave them my ex-girlfriend's number and they had called her to come and pick me up. She came and collected me and let me stay at her house for the next couple of days. It was the next day. I had woken on the couch feeling so confused as to what happened. It seemed like a dream, a really bad dream. I still had the scrunched up piece of chewing gum wrapper with the lady's number. I grabbed it from my bag and called the old lady. The phone rang many times until she finally answered. I told her what I saw, the corpses, the smell, the house. I think the house was haunted, I said. She went quiet on the other end. Hello, I said. Then a quiet laugh came through the phone. She was laughing. It got louder and louder and louder. It was a sinister and insidious laugh. Then the phone cut out. I tried calling back, but the line said it was disconnected. I never heard from her again, and since then my life has gotten back on track. I have a new full-time job, and my girlfriend and I are back together, and we're now happily married. But I can't forget. It's like the house won't let me forget. That one night will live with me forever.